The title for tonight's podcast is Kerouac.
Just another Tuesday.
We are taking over.
Happy Tuesday, podcast. Let's fucking do this thing.
This place about to blow.
Come on, Slavinsky!
PanelsOnPages.com podcast network is here to cover all of your pop culture needs.
2 words, nerd boner.
From comics to television to movies to wrestling,
Fuck wrestling.
your favorite PCN hosts will keep you entertained all week long.
Boobs, boobs, boobs. Peen, peen, peen.
Put me in charge! He's
Claude.
Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, look for the Pop Stars on Facebook and Twitter, and be sure to join the forums and become a member of the population.
Cower before our guests in a 50-foot interview. Hello everyone, and welcome to this special episode of Attack of the 50-Foot Nerds. Mike's doing interviews, I'm allowed to do them as well. Now, funnily enough, both Kickstarter themed. So, Mike, obviously, if you've listened to the previous episode, interviewed the people over at Sugar and Dice, the new board game cafe that's just finished their Kickstarter campaign, and they're going to open in Liverpool. I, however, being the one that maintains the YouTube channel as well, was looking through and found a rather interesting looking game known as Code 7. It basically, it is a text adventure, and with me, I've got Zein to kind of talk through that with me. So, say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So, yeah, I was basically, I tell you, like, when I was looking at Kickstarter, it actually came up in my Twitter feed, and I saw this, and I was like, ooh, text adventures! I've not seen one of these in a while. So. What made you guys decide to actually go for the text adventure kind of approach then?
That's always the first question we get.
Fair enough. Sorry to not break a trend.
No. I mean that's reassuring for us because we keep using the text adventure as the hook, and it appears to be a very good hook because we always get asked that. It started as a 1-week rapid prototyping project at our own university. Kevin and I are studying at the Cologne Game Lab.
Oh, okay.
And in first semester we got the task, make a game within a week, and the only rule we had, it had to be story driven. And
was that a rule for the project, or
yes, for
like
that specific
for that
specific prototype, we had
okay.
different games, each a week long, and this was one of the last. And story driven game in 1 week, and we brainstormed, and we kind of like it taking ideas to the extreme, and we wanted to tell a story that focus on the story itself without any distraction with graphics and like modern 3D stuff. We want to go far back in history, like a time travel, and go to the very origin of interactive storytelling, and said, look at that, there are text adventures back at the time, they worked well, and how can we tell a story with a text adventure for modern audiences?
Yeah.
And it was kind of self-experiment. We just wanted to see how modern can we create that. And then we created within a week. We wrote the script, programmed it, recorded the voice at home. That was 1.5 years ago. And then we launched it on GameJolt for free. And after receiving a lot of positive feedback from many different players who have played text adventures and people who haven't, they all like enjoyed it and told us how they got sucked into the story and the atmosphere. And that was the point where we then decided to make this a full game, like not a prototype, but turn it into a episodic full game. And this is how this whole project started.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, so like one thing I have noticed that's different, like most of the text-based adventures that like I've not actually like played like the most basic text adventure I've played kind of is the like choose your own adventure novels.
Yeah.
Like back before before they put them on computer. That's why I was trying to get Paul in on this interview, because he loves that sort of stuff. He's got like an entire attic full of like choose your own adventure novels and stuff, and he would definitely enjoy this game.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
one of the things I noticed though is like most of my experience is usually it's more fantasy based and stuff like that. What made you guys go with the sci-fi theme? Is it just
Yeah.
like story ideas you had floating around already for something else, or did you just go, hey, sci-fi, let's think of something?
No, I mean, it's partially like what was first, egg or chicken. Um, um, we played also. I didn't play many text adventures. I also played those story.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the choose your own adventure books.
Yeah. Well, it was part of Black Eye, the German equivalent of Dungeons and Dragons, and they had like solo adventures, and I started out with those, which are kind of the same, like choose your own adventure books. And we did research, and we played the classic text adventures, and we directly like saw or felt which parts of those games don't work anymore for today, because like the parser, you can type in whatever you want. This is a huge advantage in terms of freedom, but a lot of times the game doesn't understand what you want to do. And we played Zork, and we got directly stuck like in the labyrinth, because there's no map, and like you go right, there's a wall, you go left, there's a wall, straight ahead, there's a wall. Okay, the walls sound all the same. Where am I? And we decided we have to make it way more accessible. So if we want to have a chance with players of today.
Yeah.
And we are not a big fan of parsers, because we are big fans of parsers if they are perfect, but it's so hard to make a perfect parser that it's almost impossible to like fully understand the language. At least not with the budget and time we have.
No.
And so we wanted to make it easier to know what your options are, and we came up with a computer interface pretty quickly, because in a computer system, if you type in commands and something is not recognized, you directly understand what was wrong, because the system just doesn't have this command, and you get an error message, and it doesn't break the immersion.
Okay.
And nobody wonders why there are like commands listed. That you don't wonder why there's help on the side of the game. We can use the platform, the game itself, as part of the narrative without breaking immersion, and help the players get to know the system. And if we go with a more fantasy or medieval theme,
it'd be a bit more difficult.
Yeah, it would be more difficult to integrate that into the story to explain it, or you can't use like this command system help functions and still be in terms with immersion in that direction.
No, it's like using the Zork example that you did. It's like it's got to be pretty immersion breaking when you're sat there going, okay, like it'd be like playing to go back to the D&D example. It'd be like going you get the DM telling you where you are, and then you going, okay, well, I'm going to run into every single wall until I find a door.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, at that point, you're like, okay, this is getting silly now. I've walked into every single possible corner. Whereas, if it's the, like you said, with it being the computer sort of interface thing, you've already got options there, so you know exactly where you are, where you can go, and everything. And looking at the little picture that you've got on
and like from what I've seen on the trailer and stuff, you've got like the little map in the corner and stuff as well. So which kind of reminds me of the computer map that you got on when you played Doom, when you could look at the level map. It kind of reminds me of that, except more. Well, no, they were both geometric. Less red, basically.
We're going more for blue.
Yeah. But I do like it. It just that's one of the things about it. Like most of the like text adventures, like proper old school ones, it's just black screen and you just have it's just a long text crawl. And this one looks really pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. We like the basic idea of having not much visuals and to enhance imagination. We really like that, and we wanted to keep that as a core. But as you said, we want to give a bit more feedback, like the map, or a more dialogue-focused narrative, and not so much a lot of text that explain tells the story, but more dialogue, which is also fully voiced, so you don't have to you're not forced to read a lot of text to stay in the story. And where are I going with this? Accessibility, like making it easier, showing where the characters are on the map, having the commands to autocomplete, and also like the game saves, for example, passwords you find in a system, and every time you are asked for a password, it shows you all the passwords you have gathered, because we don't see the point in
making people have to remember all the passwords, or taking notes and things.
Yeah, they would take notes anyway, so why not directly enable it with a game, because it's not a challenging puzzle to just remember a password. So we skipped those parts where we thought this doesn't make the puzzle any better if you have to remember or write it down. So why not just including it in the game? And we try to do those on many aspects of the game, so we can focus on actually you have to concentrate on the puzzle and not how to control this whole text adventure thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it helps. It helps. Like we said, it means that you can be more immersed, and it's more like you are actually having to having to just look at whatever problem the game's giving you and being like, okay, well, as my character, what do I do, rather than going, oh god, now I need to look through all these notes I've taken, and stuff which I can imagine the old. I know that's one thing I always had to do with my when doing the choose your own adventure books, is constantly flicking back to the front where you've written down all of what your character has and being like, okay, well, I've got this and this and this. What can I do? Well, like Zork, for example. I've not played it. My most of my exposure has been watching other people play it, and I've read info about it, and the MC Frontalot song "It Is Pitch Dark," and just the fact on there that whenever you go anywhere, it's like, okay, well, I need to make sure I have torches so I don't get eaten and stuff like that. At least this sort of gets all the basic survival stuff and things like that. It'll just automatically do them, so you can concentrate on the puzzles then. Yeah.
Exactly. Not having gameplay elements like relighting torches or stuff. Which the other thing is the game is built up by the separation of characters. So the player, is Alex, a hacker, and in episode 0 starts that you find yourself trapped in a room on a space station, and there's your partner Sam on another part of the space station, also trapped. And while you are playing Alex, you still kind of control both of them, because Sam is you can't move, but Sam can. So she moves around, and you have the map, and you can tell her where to go, because you see there's a computer in that room, because you see it on the map, and you can send her there. But you need her, for example, to activate a computer because you can only digitally advance in the network. So we also use that Sam does things automatically when they make sense. When you override a door and then unlock it, she just opens it because it makes sense that she would do it. So we try to avoid those things that they don't enrich the gameplay and just stumbling over, grabbing it, then opening it, then taking it out. Just like you can do this in one go if it makes sense.
Yeah. It's like removing all the clunkiness from it. It's like that's one of the, like, to use a completely different example again. Funnily enough, Doom actually again, like the new one this time. Because anyone who's watched the 50 Foot Nerds YouTube channel knows I've been doing Let's Play videos of the new Doom. And it's like that's one of the things I've seen a lot of praise for that game, is the fact that unlike most modern day shooters, they decided, you know what, the whole mechanic of having to jump behind cover and stuff while you reload your weapon and stuff, that takes away from the experience. We're just gonna not bother with reloading anymore, so you just, however much ammo it says you've got, you could just fire that many times. And it's just and it's not like, it's one of those like little details where if you are completely wanting everything to be hyper realistic, where you'd be like, oh well, I kind of miss it, but it doesn't take away from this, like the majority of us would just be like, okay, cool, and just it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah.
In general, I like it that with the uprise of the indie games, I would say it started that people started to question like established gameplay elements if you still need them, like with Braid, that just like threw the game over part overboard because you could rewind time at any point. Or with Overwatch, you also don't have ammunition; you just have to reload. And at the beginning, you always think like, that's like weird. Don't I need ammunition to gather because I learned it? But in the end, it's not fun to gather ammunition. It's just not fun if you have an empty gun and you're in the middle of the battle and now you have to like look on the ground. So they skipped it and just left the reloading as a time penalty. So you have to strategically think when to reload, because this is fun because it's up to you if you reload earlier or like go into cover to reload. But it's not very strategical or fun to run around, gather ammo packs.
Yeah, exactly. Like for the exact same reason that Doom, again, like when you're playing that, it doesn't make a heap of story sense why when you chainsaw a dude, loads of bullets come and health packs come flying out of his chest. But to keep the game going, it's like, oh, awesome, and then you just pick up the bullets and just keep going. But that's like one thing that like with Code 7, from what I've seen so far, that is like with the way you were saying you've programmed it, that's like that's the sort of thing that you guys had in mind then, was to make sure that like it'll just immerse you until the end, and you're going, you want to basically leave the audience wanting to play the next all the rest of the episodes now. But yeah, speaking of the going back to the characters, Alex and Sam, I noticed when you were doing the prototype, was that just you both doing the voices, or have you always had different people helping you with that?
In the initial prototype, we voiced it ourselves. Kevin's girlfriend voiced Sam, and I did Soli, like the AI that you encounter later.
Ah, okay.
It worked quite well for the time frame we had, and now for the we have totally redone the version like from scratch because we couldn't properly turn the prototype into a full game without redoing like the infrastructure behind it.
Yeah.
And for the new version, we have professional voice actors. We have Jessica Carroll for Sam now. She's a British actress, and Jack Lucino for the logs you find later in the first part. And we still have some voices done by our friends or ourselves. Like I'm still the AI and the robots.
Nice.
But the main reason that we are on Kickstarter now is get funding for those professional voice actors for the next episodes, because they do so much for the atmosphere. They do like most of it to convey the atmosphere and what they are feeling, and that's very important to us to have really fitting and good people speaking our characters.
Yeah, I can imagine it. Like going back to the whole immersion thing, it just like when you it again that's something that would take away from it is if you got like with professionals you don't have the chance of someone listening to it giving you takes where they're not as confident and things. You can just like get people who will throw themselves into a role, and then you can listen back and be like, yes, this is awesome.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. I mean, it was like this with Jessica. She just she read, like, we briefed her shortly, and then she just like started recording. We were like, yep, that's Sam. That's how we imagine Sam.
Oh, perfect.
Just had the feeling for her.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with that, did getting voice actors in, just basically you looked around for voice actors, saw her and went, okay, can we book you to do this? Or did she like, or was it a case of like you sending over the previous version of the game, being like, have a go at this, we need new voices if you're up for it, or whatever?
We found a sound studio on an exhibition. Like we met the guy from Knights of Soundtrack, a German sound studio, and we told him about the project, and then they were, it kind of fit, and we started cooperating, and they just have a database of actors and actresses they already worked with or they know, and we pitched our characters to them, and they just sent us over their recommendations, like 3 to 5 actors. And then we listened through them and said, yeah, we really like number 2 and 5. And then they asked them if they wanted to and if they have time. And yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Kind of worked out like that.
Fair enough. And one of the things, like looking through because that's one thing I haven't mentioned in this interview yet. Well, as we're speaking, there is currently 18 days to go on the Kickstarter, and I'm looking through the pledges. I've already realised I've picked the wrong one. I need to go to Wizard Book, not Super User, because I want the prequel story. But I'm looking, I was looking through, and I saw one that was like, oh, record your own audio log to go in the game. I was like, ooh, really? But I'm trying to figure out where I can get funds to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's one. That's what made you guys think of like the different rewards for the Kickstarter then, or was that something you came up with like after going, okay, we can crowdfund it? Did you just sort of go through and go, well, we can sort of offer these, like make it up as you go along, or did you always was it always like, well, we want to do like these different versions of the game and stuff, physical versions and digital versions and like the extra stories and stuff like that?
Yeah, it wasn't planned from the beginning to go on Kickstarter. We had some discussions with publishers first, and I think, when did we decide? Like beginning of summer, we decided to go on Kickstarter, and we started researching other projects. What were their pledges and what were their rewards, and we did sort of statistics for how many backers were there for example, a physical game. Where was it most popular? And we didn't have those different story arcs planned from the beginning. But we are also always fans of transmedia stories, so it was kind of in the back of our heads to do something like the prequel story.
Oh, okay.
But not. It wasn't very like present. It was just like, oh yeah, we like telling stories on different channels, but it was nothing more like that. And when we started researching, I think 3 months before we started Kickstarter, we brainstormed and thought about what could we give people, what would we find interesting, and I always, for example, love to get more background details, character stories, and that's why I come up. Also, at one point you have to make a important decision in the episode 0 about 2 characters of the story, but there we have some information about those characters you can find in the game, but of course we wanted to have more, but time and budget, like always, prohibited us. And then we thought about having this ebook, for example, to tell the story of those 2 characters, so if people want to know more about them, they can learn about them.
Oh, okay.
And then we just, I mean, the physical games is like a regular thing on Kickstarter. Developer chat, stuff like this is usually in their soundtrack. And like the thing with the audio log, I mean, this was kind of self-explanatory because we already had audio logs that are spoken in by friends. So we thought like this could be a perfect higher pledge for someone who really wants to pledge that much. They can be part of the game because we already have opportunities to include people. Story.
Like one of the other big pledges that you can do for €1,000 is like designing like your own computer in the game as well, which obviously would make them a bigger part of the game, I guess.
Exactly.
Like you've looking at it, you've already unlocked as I call it a stretch goal. It says community challenge. You've got the side story about linear as well.
Exactly,
if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah. I guess. Linear.
Yeah.
It's I think Scandinavian name, so we're probably both pronouncing it wrong.
Sorry, Scandinavians. But what? So with like the side stories, was that again just like idea of you had a couple of characters and were like, oh, we want to expand this, or was that something you developed specifically for that community challenge?
Yeah, we designed those challenges specifically for the Kickstarter. When we started, we knew already that we really want to do something like that, having the community challenge that unlocks like special content in the game, but not we didn't know exactly what, and then we came up with those side stories. So you have like small quests or a small quest per episode that has one character and that you can finish, which is not mandatory, but maybe gives you some small changes in the last episode. And yeah, we thought about what would be exciting, because on the one hand we need the help of the community to promote the Kickstarter, because it's just a lot of work to promote that. And on the other hand, we wanted to give those people supporting us something valuable, not only, I don't know, like something generic, like one more soundtrack or something, I don't know. But we want to give them more, like part of the story, which feels like you adding something rich to the story, even if it's a small side story. But we felt this is more rewarding than, I don't know, some other reward. And we're gonna launch the next community challenge, I think tonight, when we
okay.
figured out how to put the wording perfectly.
Fair enough.
And we hope to have a community challenge for each episode, so every episode has its own side character story.
Ooh, okay. So there's going to be like a for each. Like, does that mean are you gonna retroactively add 1 to 0, or is it just starting from 1 onwards?
Yeah, it starts from 1 because 0 is now check.
0 is just completed. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. They will get a little shorter each one from the time, because we have to launch them and finish them until the Kickstarter ends. But
yeah, fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point. We can't just pile everything and be like on you now and just be like, do this and this and this.
Exactly, like do all those things.
Yeah, no, that would get a bit hectic. One other thing with the artwork and stuff. Are the because we were talking about the interface and things. One of the big features of it is the fact that you can, as you're talking to Sam, you can see the picture of Sam in the bottom, sort of like flickering away.
Yeah.
I think that's Sam, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's Sam.
Right. And so are the pictures actually the people that voiced them that you've sort of manipulated, or are they completely original designs? Or
the photos are completely original, but those are the people on the photos are not the voices. That we have different people for that. Let me look them up. Yeah, I mean, they're a bit photoshopped to have some more sci-fi feeling, but they are mostly people we know ourselves. I think we have one person that we actually recruited as a model. The character for chapter, which is it? 3, I think, is a model we recruited over the internet, but the other ones were people we know.
Oh, okay. Did you manage to sneak you guys in the pictures, or no?
Yes, we did.
You did.
I mean, we have launched. You can see on the Quickstarter update page, where we post the updates, there are some character spotlights, and I think there are 2. Like I am playing, like I am giving the face for the main character of the episode 2, and Kevin too. We like 2 characters of the squad, and Kevin is also picturing the glitched version of Stoli, this weird bald character you can also see on the campaign site. That's also Kevin.
Oh, okay. I'm just I'll find that in a bit.
You will recognize it. It looks kind of messed up.
Okay. But yeah. So what sort of like ambitions do you have the Actually, before I go on to that, so story-wise, you have it all plotted out to the very end, or are you sort of like a bit more flexible and it's more of a like a bullet point thing that you're sort of filling in as you go along? Does that question make sense?
No, I understand what you mean. The story, the main plot points are laid out. Like we know, we have defined what are the major things that happen in each episode and how it will end. Which characters are there, what their motives are. But we leave some blanks in between, so we have like flexibility to adjust what like specific details happen in those episodes. But for us, it's important to know where we're going with the story before we start.
Yeah.
And the main things are laid out already.
Oh, okay. So that will definitely make it easier going forward.
Yeah.
With the the project and stuff. So yeah, and one other thing I noticed is talking about the music. You were the one who's composed all the soundtrack as well.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Now this is the point where if anyone listening isn't an audio geek, you can skip me waffling on about this for the next 10 minutes. But yeah, I was listening to a bit of it. It sounds like to me it sounds like really fitting for the type of feeling I was thinking when just reading the description. What kind of things inspired you for the soundtrack, and like what did you use to get that sort of sound?
I use Logic Pro to. I have my MIDI keyboard attached to my MacBook, and then I play it. Play it. How do you say it? Like live.
Yeah.
Recording it while playing it, and I have the base version of of Logic, which includes mostly electronic sounds. So I was kind of restricted in that, but it also fit because this is a sci-fi hacking game. So this helped a lot with. Not helped, but it wasn't a problem for a science fiction game like this.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan in general of movie soundtracks. Most of the time, I come more of the orchestral part. I played orchestra, so I like having those intertwining melodies from like different instrument groups. Yeah, but I'm general for this project. We were inspired by a lot of like cyberpunk or classic sci-fi movies, and also music like from Hotline Miami or what's the name? There's retro sci-fi Far Cry.
Oh yeah. Far Cry. Yeah, Blood Dragon. I think is just the name. I know which one you mean. We've got
like that.
Yeah, we've got like a quick playthrough of me messing around on that. I meant to record more of it. The same thing where they've put the same thing for the game Trials as well, like the motorbike game. They've done Trials of the Blood Dragon, and you've got the same sort of feel to it. It's like one of those, or like some of the soundtrack, I guess, in that YouTube movie thing, Kung Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like just proper 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wanted to go a bit in this direction, but not too much.
No. So it's not. So then it's not. Because again, it's one of those like you don't want it taking away from the immersion. It's supposed to add to it rather than just be like you're halfway through hacking. Go. You know what? I really like this song. It's probably detracts a bit from trying to solve a puzzle.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I mean, it's also it's the first time I created video game music, and you have to really rethink how you compose, because when you have orchestra music, you write it for people to actively listen to it, and also when you make I don't know, when you make movie music, you know exactly at which point it is people speak, and but for video games you have to pay attention to. When there's gameplay, you don't, as you say, you don't want to distract people, and you also don't know if they are now in the dialogue or are they typing. So, should the music be now more melody or more atmospheric? And it's really interesting to rethink the entire like composing part for interactive media.
Yeah, it's like because you like you said, it's got to be more ambient and fluid to the situation rather than being like halfway through a sentence and all of a sudden the music kicks in, going like
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have most of the part we have atmospherical music, but sometimes when you have those scenes,
Yeah.
where something happens and you know this is gonna happen, I have more melodic parts or more theme-like parts. But it's very interesting to mix those. It was a challenge, but it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, I bet that's one thing I've always wanted to try myself with music is soundtrack stuff. The closest I've ever got that is music for random videos I've done, but then the video has been more connected to the music rather than the music just being backing. So it's kind of the opposite, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like one of the things I like to move on to. Sorry, I know this. Like I said, this interview is a bit here, there, and everywhere. But
Yeah. No worries.
anyone listening to this pod that's listened to interviews before knows that's pretty much how I work anyway. Mike's obviously a bit more professional because he's used to doing interviews and he's more prepared. So I just prefer to go with the flow. But looking at the Kickstarter thing, one of the benefits of this, like we've mentioned before, is like compared to most Kickstarters where it's like, oh, we've got pictures and stuff, and here's a mock-up or whatever. You guys actually are like, you don't believe us that this could be good. See for yourself for your opinion, and have this episode right now. Like, because you've got episode 0 just like pretty much the first thing you see as you look at it is the advert, and then you scroll down and it's like, hey, do you want to play the first bit? Here it is. So which that's definitely got to help with promotion and everything. And I know, like, me and you were talking about like doing let's plays on episode 0 and things. Like, have you had quite a few people like giving you feedback for episode 0 yet then? Or
yeah, we had a lot of people on Kickstarter, but also on Game Jolt. I mean, the game was there for, like, the origin prototype was there since 1.5 years, and now we replaced the version, so we could ask a lot of people who signed up for the game for feedback. But yeah, it was very important to us to have this version for Kickstarter because for two reasons. One, it is a very abstract concept to convey, like telling someone that text adventure can be very exciting and thrilling, like a Telltale game. So we learned that people had to play it to understand what our vision is. And the other thing is, I think that just pitching concepts doesn't work as good anymore on Kickstarter. At the beginning it was like this, but now where you have more and more project that like sell false promises, and people lost a lot of trust, I think, on the platform with some games, and so you are kind of forced to have at least some prototypes or demos there to show the people that first you can do it, and secondly it has the features that you advertise.
So then people can be like, well, we already know that they can make it, so we can. And then that way, for anyone curious as to what it's about, they can actually go in, get sucked into the story, or like figure out, well, the game's maybe not for me, or whatever. So it will guarantee that when people are backing, that they're definitely gonna enjoy the rest of it. Which, to be fair, like I said, by the from the clips I've seen so far, like one of the things I'm gonna do is like I said, I'm gonna put a let's play of episode 0, which hopefully the first episode of that will go up at the same time this goes up in audio. So if you're listening afterwards, go to the YouTube channel and check. And it's, but the way you've already thought of like all of the story, you can add those little cliffhangers in at the end, which will guarantee people playing episode 0 will come back to the page and be like, I need to pledge, I want more story, give it me now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But this, to go in a completely different direction again, one of the things I noticed reading this is this is this isn't your first game, is it? It's not like a well, I think you said it's first Kickstarter thing you've done, but you've actually worked on different games and stuff before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been working as a game designer since 2011. This is, as you said, the first game we have on Kickstarter and the first game as Good Wolf Studio with Kevin together. Before that, I think the only game that someone might know that I worked on is Typo Man.
Okay.
When it came out for Wii U, I worked on that, like as a game designer and writer and animator. This was the biggest game I've been working so far because it was international relevant, I would say, which is kind of hard in Germany because I don't know, they make it harder than it is to make an international game sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also Kevin has also made a lot of games, but more we did a lot of small games before, like game jam games and prototyping. He worked on a or he's part of a different company where they make geo-based games, like mobile games. He did a lot in that field, having games that a bit like your Pokemon Go. Before it was cool. They did it.
I'm trying to think of there was a different game that was before that was based on like factions or something, where you went to real world locations. I can't for the life of me remember the name of it, but
Ingress
stuff could be, yeah. And then
that's from the same developers.
Yeah. That'll be it then. And like, so he worked on stuff kind of like that kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Stuff like I don't know if you've ever played the app, well, I say played, The Walk, or like Zombies Run, kind of, where it's like tracking your real world progress to go into the game to progress the story.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Something like that.
Kinda.
But for us, as like not being employed somewhere else, this is our first narrative big game that we do for ourselves and not, as part of another company.
Yeah.
So this is our first own baby, if you want to say.
Okay. Do you have have you planned anything else like for Good Wolf, any possible game ideas going, maybe we'll work on this after we've done all of that, for example, are you gonna stick with the text adventures or move on to like exploring different things as well?
Yeah, it's unlikely that we stay with the text adventure. We like exploring fields. Picking a topic and then make it very experimental, and now it's text adventure, and I'm betting it will be something else for the next project. I mean, we're not ruling it out. I like the idea to play around more with the idea of text itself, because Typo Man was also already a game about words where you, if you don't know it, it's about it's this 2D puzzle platformer where you carry around letters and you build up words, and when they make sense, like up, then you lift something in the world to solve puzzles. So as it's going right now, it seems to be my theme to have to make stuff about words and letters and language. So we might be going this direction as well, but we're still not.
Okay.
We're not fixed on something yet.
No, yeah, but that's also the advantage of like having started your own studio as well. It gives you complete freedom to explore whatever avenues you'd want, because and especially with if all the projects are crowdfunded as well, because then you don't have to worry about like, oh, will this sell, will it not? You can just be like, okay, well, here's a first installment. We'll let people try it. If they like it, they can come and pledge here, and then we'll continue. If not, then we know that kind of thing is possible, but people aren't interested or whatever, or maybe they'll pick it up later. Or yeah. Like one game that I played recently. I don't know if you've seen it. It was this one on Steam called Antenna.
No, I haven't seen it, I think.
Yeah, it's this really weird. Again, there's a video of that on the 50 Foot Nerds YouTube plug. Sorry, but it was this weird little game where like it's all based on like tuning radio, like some of the gameplay is like tuning radios to certain frequencies to get a specific radio signal, and then that would trigger something, and then you've got this weird little spider robot that walks around, and one of the bits is like you have to unlock a door by getting it starts playing these 4 different bars, and as it's hitting these bars it's playing different tones, and you've got to slide the bars around to make all the tones exactly the same and stuff, and it's so, and like just exploring the ideas of like playing games with sound and stuff, and like stuff like experimental stuff like that is really I've always found just really interesting. So having games based around words and language is definitely something I'm looking forward to.
So are we.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm going to play through, do a proper playthrough of episode 0, and I've already decided I need to up my pledge. just looking at the other pledges. So for anyone listening who does want to pledge, if you go, the easiest way to get it is go on Kickstarter and just search Code 7 a next gen text adventure, and then that will find it. Obviously, when I put this podcast up, I'm going to put like a link to it, and I'll mention it on Twitter and things as well, so people can go, and because I'll edit this and probably upload it this tonight, the same night we've recorded, or like maybe tomorrow, so it'll give people a chance to like actually get it, and me to play episode 0 and upload that at the same time. So yeah, this is something I reckon our audience, at least, so Shiny, will definitely enjoy this sort of game, and like I said, Paul will as well, and if I can get hold of Mike, I'll try and get him involved too, and also if for soundtracks you ever need guitars, I volunteer.
Yeah, I have a lot of virtual electric guitar in the soundtrack, so.
Oh, fair enough. If you ever need any actual electric guitar, then I'm fully willing to help. But
I will get back to that.
Right, no worries. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about with the game? I'm trying to think of other things that we haven't talked about yet, but like if do you want to bring up anything, or?
I usually bring up always that we like to have everyone's feedback, even if you don't pledge. But if you have played it, let us know what you liked and if what you didn't like, so we can improve it. Because episode 0 is like an example of the game, so everything is not 100% set in stone. So if there's something we find out that 80% of the people don't like, we can rearrange this for the next episode. So if you have any feedback, positive or negative, just hit us on our channels, Twitter or on Kickstarter or GameJolt or website. We're everywhere on the internet. Reddit. Yeah.
Awesome. But that's one of the advantages of doing it as an episodic release as well, rather than just being here's a game, because it gives you like the options of like evolving the actual way the game works as well as the story.
Yeah.
So like any issues that come up with episode 1 when that gets released, you can correct that for episode 2. Or like even if the story goes, okay, well we need this extra, we need the game to be able to do this extra thing that it couldn't do before. You can change it rather than doing the modern console game thing of let's release it, it's broken, right? Patch. Because that does seem to be a trend with modern console games I've seen.
Yeah, also PC games apparently.
Yeah.
Some.
To be fair, like most of the only games, I'll be honest, the only game I played regularly that has regular patches, well, I say regular, is Elite Dangerous, and that's basically just a space simulator, so they're adding more stuff in space. And that's kind of understandable. They've got quite a lot to fill, but like it's more. Oh God, what? I think it was one of the. It could have been. It was a Bethesda game. It was Fallout New Vegas. I'm thinking of. Like they released one of the games, and people just said, "Yeah, no, it doesn't work." And it just constantly crashed and stuff. So they had to release a patch within like 2 or 3 days of releasing it. Or like EA, the hell of all worship, all publishers even.
That seems to happen more often now with the big.
Companies. Like just because, which again is one of the advantages of you guys having the like the independent studio to do it, because you can just concentrate on everything rather than having like bigger companies or whatever just coming down on you and being like, okay, well we need this finished by yesterday, you know. So yeah, sorry, I went off on a bit of a tirade there.
Oh, it's okay, it's fine.
But yeah, like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to this game. People need to go and pledge for this as soon as they finish this episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, and hopefully, like later on down the line when you're releasing other bits, we can get you on the podcast again, and we can talk more about the story as it develops and stuff.
Yeah, sure, I'd love to.
Awesome. And I've just thought of another thing before we wrap everything up with the talking about the ebook prequel and stuff. Is it like as we go along and add the extra episodes, is that something that you will continue with the like ebooks and extra bits and pieces like that?
Yeah. As I said, I'm a big fan of those transmedia stories, having different platforms of those stories.
Yeah.
The idea is that maybe the ebook is just a start, and later maybe I'm turning it into a proper novel, with a complete pre-story. Maybe I'm not sure yet. And yeah, for everyone who is interested in background story right now, on our Facebook group, we have a background story running right now, where you can learn a bit about what happened on the station. We have like weird transmissions going on there, and you can vote on where the story goes. So you can learn a bit about what's happening, what happened before episode 0 started. So you can find our Facebook group. It's on Facebook apparently, code 7, and yeah. It's we received transmissions from a person called Edison Harper, so keep an eye out for that if you like background information.
Yeah, which
I know us guys of the 50 Foot Nerds love this sort of like this extra stuff that we can get a hold of. Like personally, I'm the type of person who like watching films or playing games and stuff. Like will then go back and go like, is there a commentary feature? Yes, play. And stuff, and just delve into like for like RPGs and stuff. Be like, ooh, there's an extra book that we've found. Let me read all of it, and stuff like that. It's just that sort of stuff in games is just fantastic. So I'm really happy that that sort of thing is going to be involved, because it's just fantastic having, like, rather than just being here's the story done, you can just expand everything, and it does give the chance to, like, as we were saying, as it goes along, you can be like, ooh, I want to add this extra thing, I'll add it in this side bit or whatever, or like just general info about the universe that they live in and stuff. So yeah. Right. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. We'll end this. We'll end this interview. If people have any questions whatsoever, they can. We'll give out your details first. So where can everyone get a hold of you?
You can find me either on Twitter, Okkolicious with double K, or at Kickstarter. If you just write us a message, I'll be behind that, or a email at Zein at goodwolf/studio.com. I don't know. Do you say slash or dash in English?
Dash.
Dash. Okay. Zein at goodwolf-studio.com. Can write me an email.
Cool. And then if anyone's got any questions for the 50 Foot Nerds, like what you want us to cover, or questions, things you want us to bring up next time, Zein comes on and we do more of this, or even if we get you on just to chat random nonsense about gaming in general or whatever, whatever you want to get involved with, people can like get a hold of all of us. We have the email address 50footnerds@gmail.com. We've got Facebook, Twitter, everyone's 50 Foot Nerds, which is spelled FIFTY_FOOTNERDS. Or apart from Facebook, where we have the full name, Attack of the 50 Foot Nerds, and the 50 is numbers, because we like to be awkward. We've got a Patreon as well, so if people are like, if you want to get stuff early, go there and see what you reckon. You can just give us $1. You'll still get all the stuff. I don't mind. If you want to complain to me that I'm really rubbish at interviews, you can tweet me personally. I'm at Vaults of Exdoth. If you want to talk to Mike, he is at Mike G. Bell, and if you want to talk to Paul, he is at Auton Scouser. And obviously, like I've been saying the entire time, we've got the YouTube channel as well, which is, if you just go to video.50footnerds.co.uk, that'll take you there, and hopefully you'll be able to see the playthrough of episode 0, and other random stuff. So, I guess, thank you, Zein, for coping with me firing random questions at you.
That's totally fine. I'm a chaotic person myself, so I felt at home.
Oh, that's all right then. That's all right. You're definitely welcome for next time. And all the listeners, geek out, I guess. Bye.
Bye. Okay, bye.
You are likely to be eaten. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seems particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Now the torture a match in your inventory. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seemed particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Not a torch or a match in your inventory. It got narrated at you in the second person. Every time you put it up, it seems you got another version of your life told to you by a status line blinking. The impossible people you could be without thinking yourself insane. Of personality problems with a mop on a dropship or trying to stab a goblin that don't play. In public life, you get arrested. Psychoactive medication daily in your big intestine. And the testing that the voices in your head said the dwarf shot first. Embedded arrow, then you bled for doctors with needles. Posit repeatedly that you knocked down that midget in the park unneededly. This has seeded the idea that you should never venture from the house, never get misunderstood by the non-player characters inhabiting Earth. None of whom are too concerned about Nord and Bert. Not one of whom ever aimed to fish around the room, trying to get it in the ear canal because Doomby said the last planet they were on or near the verge of a set of poetics they wouldn't hear. Never peered at the clues with invisible ink. No SM goddesses ever gave them pause to think. Never piloted 6 robots, each distinct. Don't matter how many 2 liters they drink, they're not going to follow what you're saying at all. They impugn and appall in the scope of their gall as you hide in your room in disgust with the lights turned out. Turn them on in a turn, leave them off for now. You are likely to be eaten. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seemed particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Not a torch or a match in your inventory. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seemed particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Not a torch or a match in your inventory. Pamphlet from a mailbox that urges low cunning, offers cursor and font type running. You're running and parses what you tell it. Pronouns intact, abbreviations if you need them. Better keep it grammatic. Better punctuate your sentences and never redact the name of anything ambiguous. You're about to get axed. You mean the red one, the round one, the crooked or the blue. Better keep that in your pocket. Don't know yet what it could do. Could be the spray for the Grue. Gonna need it if it is a situation that reloads, restarts, or quits. Wonder how many points out of how many points you gotta get before you're done. Endeavor then to rejoice when you wish more ardently identities shed. But continuance, the rhyme forever voyaging, fled from all lights and colors, from all smells and sounds. Just a lyric on the monochrome display, and you're proud to make another verse appear. By solving riddles, if you didn't have to sleep, you know you'd never seek a quibble. You'd be ever in the middle, in the midst of a quest. If it wasn't for Dawn, the gown, you'd never get dressed in your underwear typing, just like front keyboard attached up to my fingers. Wrists bear the brunt as I seek to do stunts simply through their descriptions. I think I went once to some sands that were Egyptian, and I retained plane ticket snapshots, receipts. Yet I stand unconvinced that this has happened to me. I wouldn't want to misremember or get confused. Recall crawling towards a pyramid, appearing over dunes. Recall entering the thing and descending stairs. Does it descend from there? Adventure to nightmare. Did I battle a snake? Was the treasure intact, or did the TRS-80 in my brain get hacked? Thanks, Grandpa, for buying it. Now my life's ruined. 22 years later, heads invested, got the Grue in. Fluent, says if I'm trying to escape, but I can't, cause I'm up and around and awake. You are likely to be eaten. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seemed particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Not a torch or a match in your inventory. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seemed particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Not a torch or a match in your inventory. Into the slavering fangs of a lurking Grue.
If you've enjoyed the nerddom in your ears, then please follow us on Twitter at 50footnerds, or email us anything except spam at 50footnerds@gmail.com.
Hello, everyone. Just in case you decided to see what was after the song, I know you wanted to know, Shiny. I have decided to put in the Patreon advert. So you can kind of get a glimpse of what the normal podcast is like, just in case you want to start listening. So, just in case you are sensitive to this sort of thing, unlike the interview here, we do swear a lot, make a lot of very dark jokes and things like that, as you will see in this advert. So check it out. If you want to listen to more of the podcast, go ahead. If not, and you want to send us hate mail, that's fine too, I guess. Alright, enjoy.
Excuse me, shopkeeper. Are you there? Are you there? There's no one behind the counter.
I'm here.
Oh, hello, Mr. Shopkeeper. That's a rather fetching fez you're wearing. It matches your pashmina.
Why, thank you.
Yes, I was wondering if you could point me in the direction of your 50-foot nerds stuff.
Ah, well, the easiest place to find them is at patreon.com/50footnerds.
Why, what is this patreon.com/50footnerds of which you speak, sir?
It is a site where you can sign up, and if you give them, if you subscribe to them and give them money regularly...
Get the lines right.
Yes. Let me start that line again.
Don't forget keep it in. Go on, shopkeeper.
I apologise, I seem to have lost my script for the day. I also suffered a bit of brain damage on the way to work this morning.
It's your head.
I hit my head on a post, and then
I wondered what that post was outside with the head imprint in it.
Yeah, and then
that's why you're wearing the fez to cover the bump.
Yes, if I take off the fez, it'll actually show you how big the bump is.
Take it off.
Ta-da!
My, that's a large bump. It's like a cartoon hill.
It is.
Anyway, tell me about Patreon.com.
It's so big. I've got a family of mice living in a house on the top of it now.
And there's snow on the hilltop, apparently.
That's just dandruff.
Oh, okay. So tell me about patreon.com/50footnerds.
Well, basically, if you go there, you can give them money every month, anything from $1 upwards, and you get access to loads of cool YouTube stuff, because they have a YouTube channel. So you will get things like The Gentlemanly Adventures of Kiss and Pig, and Nerdblock unboxings, and next time they do a live show, you'll get that too. And you'll get it all earlier than general release. But that's not all. You can also you can sign up and pick different perks that you'd like. So if you say, "Oh, I just want to give them money and get stuff early," that's fine. You can pay like $1 or whatever. If you pay slightly more, you can get a super secret, super sexy bonus podcast, because everyone knows we love those.
Yes.
And then, if you pay a little bit more, you can get a t-shirt! Because people won't buy them if we make normal adverts, so we can sell them via Patreon instead.
As you can see, I am wearing a 50-foot nerd t-shirt. It's one of the old style ones that says, "Yarg" on it.
Oh my god, we actually
I've
sold
got
one.
sexy hands, apparently.
Ah, mine
Which
just
used
says,
to be
"Yeah,
Sean
that'll
Connery's
do."
Catchphrase before his grandson went missing.
Yep.
Cute, sexy hands.
Before his grandson went missing. God. Anyway, that's why I have a spare shirt in the back that says it's better to be safe than raped. I keep that in my shower fridge. Anyway, you can sign up and you can get those. Or, we are looking to eventually work on, like, either...
Who's we? You're a shopkeeper.
Yes, me and the other people at Shopkeepers Guild. we get together and make this Attack of the 50-Foot Nerds. You see, well, I'm Andy, but Mike and Paul. Mike and Paul.
Yes.
Right? They're actually shopkeepers in disguise.
50-Foot Nerds.
They're
Shopkeepers in disguise.
They're like Transformers, but they transform into shopkeepers and
Are they powered by Enegrigs?
what?
Are they powered by Enegrigs?
Yes.
Okay.
They're powered by Enegregs. They always have to buy a pasty first thing in the morning.
Amazing, incredible pastry sausages.
The only problem was once we accidentally fed one to a horse.
Wow, the in-jokes. Preferences.
Yeah.
This is why I come to this shop. Because 50-Foot Nerds in this shop.
Indeed.
It is strange, though, that you are on the 50-Foot Nerds and yet you don't have any 50-Foot Nerds merchandise on your shelves, and I have to ask you with the till.
That's because we got told off. Because...
By... Who'd you get told off by?
Well, everyone thought I did have an entire section dedicated to merchandise about, let's see, it was dedicated to the shower fridge, Mad Eye Moody, and Doc Brown, and everyone said all the rape paraphernalia wasn't good, so I had to take it all down.
Fair enough. I did wonder why this shop was just called Hey Rog. That's what made me think, maybe they don't
I do have a dog. You want to buy a dog?
Can I see this dog?
Yeah, he's in the fish tank.
I drowned him. Where did you come from? Oh, sorry, I was over there.
Fucking John Lennon.
Behind this bookshelf. I'm going back there now. Bye.
See you,
Hi, John Lennon.
Bye, evil John Lennon.
See you later.
Yeah. Anyway, but to the pledges, you can also get
Yes, to continue to tell me about patreon.com/50footnerds.
Yeah. Basically, if you pay more and more, you will get various different things, including the t-shirt, the bonus podcast. You can get, we're gonna work on, hopefully, gonna find like a public domain movie that we can do commentary on and release a DVD of it via the Patreon thing, because that would be cool.
Yeah.
Gonna work on that. And maybe if we actually make enough money and get enough time, we can make something about Blu-rays.
Ah.
Blu-rays? Yes, but if you want to help us get there, then go to patreon.com/50footnerds.
I think I'll go to patreon.com/50footnerds and donate some money.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any chutney?